Hello, welcome to Applying Value Streams to Traditional Organizations, a case study. My name is Dionysis Svoronos, or you may call me Dennis, which is my, let's say, nickname for my friends and acquaintances outside Greece. I am based in Athens, Greece. I am a board member of the Value Stream Management Consortium. This is my second time I speak at Flowtopia. This Flowtopia, though, is a virtual event. Last year was in the US, Las Vegas. So today, I'm very happy to be here amongst you. It's the biggest Flowtopia yet. And as a board member, I'm really proud to have the time to discuss about how I apply value streams to my organization, a traditional organization. I work for Deutsche Telekom as a project manager, program manager, release train engineer for the past more than 2.5 years. And my current assignment is in the TVU platform, where I will discuss how I implement value streams there. When I was thinking about how will I present this use case, first I was thinking about naming it how to apply value streams without talking about value streams. And this is what I found the biggest struggle of applying value streams in a traditional organization is, and what I've also have been experienced with talks with fellow experts out there. It's very difficult to influence stakeholders about the benefits of flow engineering or value stream management, or even ways of working. I see that there is a fatigue around ways of working, agile transformations. I experienced this myself, and even though always I'm fascinated about how I influence colleagues, decision makers, executives, leaders, I think that this is more relevant than ever, how we can bring people to the same table, avoid polarities, and increase business outcome, focus on business and customer value. So yeah, my first touch around value streams was with Discipline Agile Value Stream Consultant by Project Management Institute more than 2 years ago. I was the first to have it in Greece. At the same time, I really enjoy writing articles around ways of working, but also in leadership and soft skills or human skills, as I prefer to call them in general. You may look some of my articles. And I am also keen in using coaching, executive coaching, and organizational development consultant methods in order to influence stakeholders. So you will see some of these methodologies in the use case implemented here. I'm a frequent speaker in business conferences, and once again, I'm really happy that you have joined Flowtopia and really eager to go into a step dive about how I implemented value streams in my organization. So it was like less than 2 years ago where we had a new leader in the products and innovation segment, which very passionate, talked about let's be a product company. And our new goal was to deliver customer value beyond telecommunications, a pain point for the telecommunication operators companies over the last decade. At the same time, we have more than 10 business initiatives that were not telco. And it's a very big sub-organization, a very big, let's say, product company inside Deutsche Telekom, more than 2,500 employees. Why we need to be a product company? We have low Net Promoter Score, we have low customer experience, and we have long customer journeys. We have multiple development lines and little customer experience focus. Okay, that's very interesting, but from a way of working expert, I feel a bit triggered that I don't see numbers and I see vague names here, right? Don't you? Well, that's what I felt. And what I have been experiencing since was an organization returning to a functional way of working while applying value streams. So value streams by name, not value stream management, right? And why do I say that? I say that because it has been a high-level implementation without deep diving. For example, lack of value stream management, metrics, change management. We have been confusing value streams with customer journeys. You may or may not know customer value stream is more about how the organization creates maximum value and minimum waste in order to deliver in one flow the value to the customer, where customer journey is what does the customer has to do in order to receive the product from his point of view. So this has been really confused in a way that we implement that. And we have very low focus on collaboration, dealing with silos, anything that it's not, let's say, how we deliver value, how we deliver product to the customer. Actually not. Anything that is not what, because what value and what we deliver to the customer, because anything that is what, we focus on it, but on the how, we don't. There was a very huge resistance and has been resistance from executives in differentiating value from waste. So I was thinking that, and I found it very difficult to influence stakeholders around it and around methodologies. They didn't even want to hear about, let's say, ways of working, project management, agile, anything of that. So a very, very passionate argument that they have been having is, why should I put a way of working expert? Why should I put value stream management expertise in my organization, where instead I could put a developer and have more outcome? Well, yeah, you would have more outcome, but you would produce more waste. And that's the picture that I showed them, that right now, or if we don't have experts in ways of working, we have much waste. We have delays, handoffs, task switching, relearning, partially done work, extra futures. So yes, if you implement skill set, if you integrate skill set without adding, let's say, developers instead, that you could do, of course, you would have reduced outcome, but also you would have reduced waste and you will increase value. So it's about maximizing value, not maximizing outcome, right? Yeah. But again, I didn't have the influence to influence my whole 2,500 organization. Most of us, unfortunately, don't have in their zone of control or even zone of influence that. It's something that I need to make peace with it, that we won't do it. Or maybe not. I thought, I want to be the change I want to see in my organization. So my responsibility was in the TV platform development, where we deliver platform product with requirements from internal customers, business owners, and legal. And there, the leaders have identified three value streams: the EU stream, the German stream, and the voice stream. So I went and deep dive into these streams, and I saw that we have huge differences here. The systems are totally different. The one system is delivering to 6 different internal customers with team members all over the world, continuous scaling, very fast, without dedicating focused ways of working. Germany delivers to Germany using SAFe for 4 years, very mature, agile ways of working. Voice stream, a standalone financial product with a different product, and we try to have it incorporated in our platform. So, okay, nice, interesting. And at the same time, I said, okay, let's dive into that. So I joined this initiative 6 months ago, and I was asked to lead and improve the program management planning for the EU development Agile Release Train. Very specific and very weird for a role about really release engineer. But very soon I saw that in reality it was hybrid with program management responsibilities. When I deep dived into the stream, in the EU stream, I saw that we have 4 silos. Segment, but they were silos. Only the second segment, the development Agile Release Train, had PAP planning. All the other ones were working in their own ways of working, which is not bad. Many of them are very successful, but they are not, let's say, coordinated with one another. We have the demand manager, development, platform services, and the delivery management. So how do I do that? How do I work in a hybrid role with value streams that are implemented superficially, and people don't want to hear about value streams? Because where I went and discussed in the EU platform, they told me, and I said, let's do a value stream management workshop, let's map the value stream, let's engineer the flow, let's make a workshop to discuss about how we can coordinate better. No, we don't have time, we don't have time, we don't have time, we have problems, we don't deliver. Yeah, but you don't deliver because we need to improve our ways of working. No, it's not that. So constant firefighting mode, very usual in my organization in general. So what are the obstacles and how can I focus and lift these obstacles? First of all, I need synergies, and I need synergies, and I identify that the same obstacles that I see are business challenges and business challenges that they face. So how we can come together as a team and work on them. First of all, the PIP planning problem was symptomatic. There were deeper interdependencies between the business segments. So even though that was the leader wish, their need was something totally different. How do the different release trains and silos manage their expectations from one another? Second, everyone has difficulty in influencing functional leaders due to cultural difference in hybrid work environments. So even though we implemented SAFe in the EU stream, also in the German, we have functional leaders. We all know how dysfunctional this can be, pun intended, but at the same time, we need to collaborate with them. So what is in it for them? What is it for you? What is the individual goal of the managers, and how can I align it with the TVB business goals? Leveraging support from allies. So these functional managers and product owners experience these challenges. Why is this happening in their perspective, in their expertise? They are much more expert in their field than I am. They know what's going on and what not. So in their mind, in their point of view, what are the biggest challenges you have faced and what's the first thing you would change? I went on to one-to-one coaching sessions to everyone that I can find as a supporter, as an ally, and create synergies. Then, instead of doing value stream mapping workshops, which would be my first step in an ideal organization that wanted to do transformation, I went and pinpointed the biggest challenge that they had, which were dependencies. And I said, you know what? Dependencies is quite cool. Dependencies is very common in value streams because when I deliver the outcome as an activity, as I manage an activity to another, to the next step, this is a dependency for the other. So if I can solve the dependencies, I can manage the stream without talking about mapping the stream, and then I can do it afterwards. Seems like a good idea, right? Yeah, so we identified and managed the dependencies. We managed to have separate dedicated meeting about them. We improved the workflow. We had a map, regular. We coached people about how they should have an owner and reporter and following up in the dependencies. Stuff that may seem basic, but in such a multi-complex and multicultural organization and very much used into firefighting mode, it was really difficult to deviate them and starting that if we don't have dependencies, then you will work better with a much more efficient flow. The second step was a risk analysis. Because we have been working in firefighting mode, we didn't manage risks actually. Something happened and risk, and then we were trying to manage it. At the same time, when we didn't manage it also in an agile way, integrated in our work items. So what we did there is that in the high level, we communicate the risks, like everyone needs to be ready to take actions, as we also had functional managers. But at the same time, we also need to have the risks in their operational level so that we know what we need in order to do our job better. And from the dependent side of view, and also that what will happen if we don't have it from the risk side of view. Fun enough, people then started to understand that, you know what, maybe the problem is not like how much time we consume in order to develop something or design it, but how much we take to deliver it from one task to another, from design to development, for example. So I said, that's great. That's a way of saying, okay, let's decrease the cycle time in a value stream. So flow metrics, great. Aligning expectations. Let's go one-to-one, discuss. What do you expect from the other segments? What do you expect in order to do your job? Do you know what other colleagues expect from you? And input and output analysis. And eventually, we want to end in a cross-team collaboration, like communication and cooperation between various teams in order to leverage diverse expertise and achieve shared goals. So strategic level alignment, soft skills workshop, organizational development, initiatives that are more deep dived, and eventually we go more into all this aspect of flow engineering. What I saw, and it's like a very, for me, inspiring moment was when I was with my executive stakeholders and this person has requested me, Dennis, I want you to deep dive into this. Why is this happening? And I say, okay, thank you very much for your trust, but I also need you to capture your expectations. You are my sponsor. You are the leader, not only of the EU stream, but all the streams. And he said, okay, that's interesting, but I need all the leaders. What do you mean? All the managers inside the stream of the segments, all the functional managers. Yes, interesting. And they were starting having discussions. And they were having discussions, and I started facilitating the discussion, what do you need from the other party? And we started pointing and creating stickers in a virtual board. Okay, that's cool. That was the first meeting. And it was really nice because we know right now what we expect from one another and we start collaborating. There really were silos, the coordination was very low. The second time the meeting happened, we were focusing on quality and we were having discussions on quality. Why do we have external quality testers? Why do we test in our internal customers, the national companies? How does the end customer test it? And I started collecting this information and creating a map, like sub map, only for development until testing and delivery. And afterwards, people got very excited. I was just mapping what they were saying, what I facilitated them, of course, for them to saying. And it was then that they asked, you know what, this is cool. Why don't we expand it? Why don't we do it? I said, okay, let's do it. So I can draft it because I have captured many of your discussions. Do that. And I created the map. And I created the map in a Miro, the value stream map. And everyone was so excited that we started coordinating around the process. That's how they called it, the process. I know it's more than that. I know that I facilitated something more than that. But at the same time, I achieved my purpose. So this was only a part of the cross-team collaboration that we are currently working on. And at the end of the day, it's about that. It's about delivering real value. Unfortunately, I cannot share you this virtual board for organizational reasons, but I will share you the next step, which is success in managing the TVU development release train. This was one of the 4 segments into what were discussed. So then I was asked to manage the whole TVU stream through the Miro, so through the virtual board, and we have discussed, and eventually to influence the whole TV value stream network. The 3 streams that I have discussed with you, I'm working right now to map, and right now I have more synergies and more allies than ever, to how these streams collaborate and coordinate with one another to deliver. So, for example, we see here that the EU, the one that I manage and we have most information around, we have a business owner, a leader that says that this is the business demand and what to do, which has incorporated the customer feedback from our internal and customers. Then, which are the NATCOs, the national companies, for example. Then we're starting planning, and then through the planning, we need to have multiple streams per team because we are organized around development touchpoints, for example, Android or the boxes that we use or iOS. So these different streams have their own ways of working, which is usually a type of safe team, let's say. At the same time, the PI planning, I have it also with the EU and the voice. Here, I miss something. Maybe it needs to be collected because all the streams we have the same PIP together, even though the segments of the EU are not in the PIP. So even this creates an issue. So it's another stream that is not another stream. It's another part of the stream that needs to deviate a bit. Then we return to develop, where we are detached of the German stream and the voice stream, and we start the QAs. But the QAs also is happening to an external tester as well. So we have a stream which is the external tester, which sees us as a customer because they deliver the test results, we would say. Yeah, probably something like that. And then we have the feedback from the end customers, and for the beta outcome, sorry. And after a white time of days, we also have the deploys. This is very interesting. And what we are in the stage of right now is I have pinpointing this virtual board of the EU stream only, not in the network, the X and the Y days. And for me, this is the key differentiator when we do value stream management, how many days we want to from one step to another. And I have sit down with, as I said, allies and supporters. In my mind, you always need to have teams and colleagues that support not, let's say, your expertise, but at least the business benefits that you all can leverage from that. So in this stream, end to end, which is the cycle time? How much time do I need to have from the business owner to until deployment? Like from a business idea to become reality. and it's quite some months, I would say. So this was a shocking statistic for my executive stakeholders to know that they need a lot of months from an idea to become deployment, and I don't include in these months the changes, which inevitably happen because we are not efficient, let's say, at the top level. So yeah, if you need lots of months and you have more months even for change, so what are we doing? We become irrelevant. We become irrelevant to the competition, and we fail to deliver in time and in quality for our end customers. So that's why we should focus in improving what? Our metrics, our flows, our value stream management, they are still not interesting about this stuff. They will need to improve this time. How much time we need from business idea to deployment. That is something that they really wanted to hear, and they really wanted to work upon that. If I want to have to share 3 key takeaways from this presentation, is that what I have learned and have been learning, continuously learning, sometimes I even struggle with that, is that we need to contextualize our knowledge to align with organizational goals and drive impactful decisions. It's a traditional organization. It's very difficult that you have a clear mandate to lead this kind of stuff. There are many people that could have a saying in to do, and at the same time, you miss the accountability of a decision maker. So what I mean by that is you need to see these dynamics, experience them, and know how you can use them for improving not only the ways of working, but also the business outcome, and bring all these people on the same table that we want to increase the value we deliver to the customer. You are responsible for the development. I'm responsible about how efficient we're going to do that, how we coordinate with one another. So all this knowledge about contextualization means that I'm in an example whether we implement safe superficially, and we only are a release train engineer amongst functional managers and 8 dev teams, which we have only 3 Scrum Masters, which we call them also technical program managers. It's far than an ideal agile transformation place to work upon. However, that doesn't mean that you should give up. So contextualize, focus on what this organization faces and problems, and how you can propose the solutions in a way that they will be accepted so that you can influence this decision amongst the stakeholders. So second step, influence these stakeholders by understanding their priorities, communicating effectively to overcome resistance. The resistance to change isn't something that we experience when we want to make a transition. It's also what we experience when the transition isn't being made. And what I mean by that is that I want to change things through value stream management, for example, from flow engineering. So the resistance to change doesn't come from the organization, but it comes also, for example, the most infamous or famous example, say it as you want, for the functional managers and how this point of the transition, but also for me, for the leader, and how they see value streams in a totally different way of what I consider in the value stream management. And third one, embrace adaptability to remain effective and responsive in changing environments. The example that I shared with you with the virtual board and the mapping, it's something that just came. I didn't expect it to happen. I was just talking and I understood that these executive stakeholders that are talking right now are talking, they're describing the value stream. So let's put it down in the board, and just without me saying nothing, only the work that I have been doing with them in the board and mapping the stream, I managed to influence them for using value streams without speaking about value stream, without speaking a word actually. So if I wasn't, let's say, adaptable enough in this moment, and I mean like open-minded to see that what they're saying could be a value stream map, and it's not like just say some corporate words, then I wouldn't be able to do it. So adaptability to remain effective and responsive in changing environments. Thank you very much for your time. This is my experience in applying value streams in traditional organizations. This is the first time that I present the use case of EU stream. My previous example was in a business initiative where I implemented value streams, again in Deutsche Telekom, but in a total different business ways of working, not so much software engineering. You will find this, my previous speech, in the library of the Value Stream Management Consortium, where you can find lots of very interesting information about. We have like a great course for Value Stream Management Foundation, which is free. We have an even, let's say, bigger, more deep dive. If you are a member, it's very low cost, and we need all your support in order to continue working on value stream management methodologies and also promoting them. As I said many times during this speech, influencing is quite an interesting point and a very successful one. You need to be successful in order to be successful holistically. So anything you need, if you find interesting, again, please feel free to message me in LinkedIn. I'm here with you, answer any questions around my speech. And once again, thank you very much for joining the Flowtopia, the virtual Flowtopia, the biggest Flowtopia yet. And I hope that you enjoy every moment of all the speeches. Great speakers we have here with us. Looking forward to your questions. Thank you very much.